We didn't deem Native Americans as people until 1870s, somewhere in there in the Standing Bear case. We did the Indian Removal Act. We had made a number of treaties, a number of which we had broken. We had the Indian boarding schools where the task that we gave to them was to make them into European-style people. And so these are all governmental actions that we're responsible for. That's why I thought this is a pretty clear case. But I just really hadn't calculated on how hard it still is, even on a clear case, to actually say the words, "I did something wrong, I apologize."
We're here. Local Indian School. I think I was right around maybe about 13 or 14 years old. I just never was used to being away from home. My dad and mom was bringing me up here, and at that point we got here, it got silent, real silent. No one said anything to anybody. And I just knew that I was staying and they was leaving. Got here, man, there was tribes from everywhere, all over the country. They stared at you stared at them, trying to figure out what they were and who they were. Navajo, Cheyenne, Lakota, Sioux, and Blackfoot, Crow, but you could hear them talking, but you didn't understand what they were saying. I think there's at least 1,000 of them here at that point in time. And here I was, first time, and just leaving my mother and father. Strange things happened here.
The American experience, and there's a lot of good, also has dark sides to it. And I think many of us walk in it and don't even know it. And I didn't for a long period of time. And that doesn't mean I don't love my country or I don't think my country's great, because I think this is a special country. I also think we've got sin. And that if we're going to accomplish what we need to do and be as a people, we have to acknowledge and own that sin.
The resolution apologizes to Native peoples on behalf of the United States. And I commend Senator Brownback for introducing the measure, and I look forward to his testimony.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this, to my knowledge, first ever hearing on a topic of this nature, an official apology to the Native Americans of the United States.
When legislating, how do we do an apology? Well, you do an apology as an official act. You've got to introduce a bill, we've got to get the bill passed, and I start that process.
Dr. Bigpond, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman. My hope is that the President of the United States will stand before all the chiefs, all the tribes, and says, can you forgive our government, our forefathers, for how we treated you? And so when that apology is made, it gives the authority to move forward, not go backward. Hele agano, hele alpha and An, our language is a song they sung on the Trail of Tears. Always go forward, never look back.
One thing I can assure you of, knowing Senator Brownback, if this resolution were passed by the Congress of the United States, it would not fade into obscurity very soon.
In 2005, got the bill in, got bipartisan support, the Native American Indian Association supporting it, Senator McCain's support. So all those things are adding up, and it's looking like to me, wow, this could move. We could move fast. This could get up on the floor. There could be this great discussion about it in the country. Freestanding passage of a bill, big signing ceremony by the president. And then we just started hitting invisible walls, which is the typical way things die in the Congress. Is you hit a wall and you didn't even know you hit it.
I'm sure these walls and these buildings can tell you many stories that I can't even mention or can't even talk about or wouldn't want to talk about. We get our hair cut, they would shave our hair off, all our hair, and they would put us on cheese sandwiches and water. If we did something, not do what you was told to do, maybe speak your language. And that's where they'd put us in the hallway all night long, standing on a one square box of 12 inches. And you had to stand on that box and then just stand there with our nose against the wall. And if you went to sleep, they'd come by and cram your head and to the point of your nose would start bleeding against the wall, or put a bruise on your forehead. I mean, it didn't bother some of them. They just didn't care. They just didn't care what they did to you or how they did it. Now, you could talk to other kids who went to Chilocco here, and they may give you a totally different view because they didn't stay where I stayed. They didn't go through what I went through.
So from 05 to 08, there's a gap in the legislative record, but that's because I'm trying to get it through the committees, and I'm getting blocked at the committee level. And I'm going to different members and asking them, would you allow this to move forward? And a number of them were just saying, no, because I don't know where this is going to lead, and I didn't do it.
The senator from Kansas, Mr. Brownback, proposes an amendment number 3893.
And then in 08, I see a chance here on the Indian Health bill that this would be a germane amendment. I could attach it to that bill. And so I saw a chance, and I just went to the floor, bypassing the committees then at this point in time, and just proposed it as an amendment.
And so what we've crafted here in this amendment, previous bill that is now in amendment form, is an official apology. It does not deal with any property issues whatsoever, but it recognizes some of this past difficulty in relationship, and it says for those times that the federal government was wrong, we acknowledge that and we apologize for it.
Clerk will report the amendment.
I've taken it to the floor. I had a germane bill to offer the amendment on, and we don't get it on that one either. And I was out of ideas of what to do at that point in time, and I'm getting towards the end of my service in the U.S. Senate. I want to get this done. We've committed a lot of time and resources to try to move this on forward, and it's just not happening.
All we're asking is that you apologize for the past, not the present, for the past. We don't want to go there again. As long as you don't apologize for that, you'll always go back to the past. You'll always deal with it the same way that you dealt with it before.
God give us the ability to weep. I don't ever get to the point where I feel so bad I can't weep anymore. I need to weep. I need to let these things out. You know, the misfortune is the memory I have of this place, although it's a place that we ate and had some fun in and laughed. But upstairs, it said that there was a young man, a young boy rather, that either hung himself or something happened to him. I don't know if someone did something to him, but he was found hanging up there. Tears just come to my eyes because of what went on. As a young man, I shouldn't have had to go through those things. In that day and time, you wouldn't see me crying. You couldn't catch a tear in my eye because I just felt like, well, that's the way things are. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it's going to be.
I'm about to leave the Senate. I'm in my last 2-year term. This is 2009. And a man comes into my office that's a Native American supporter and had worked Capitol Hill for a long period of time. And he said, well, why don't you attach it to a defense appropriations bill? Because that's how they used to pass the treaties all the time. Most of the treaties, they couldn't pass freestanding either, but they would put them in as part of the defense appropriations bill, and the defense appropriations bill always passes. And I was appropriator. I'm on the appropriations committee at the time. And I remember I immediately reacted to him. I said, I'm not going to do that way. This thing deserves its own bill. It deserves its own hearing. This is important for the United States. This is important for healing for the land and reconciliation. And so he leaves and said, okay. And he leaves and walks out of the office. And then I sat there for a moment. I got, that's a brilliant idea. That is a brilliant idea.
The clerk will report.
Senator from Kansas, Mr. Brownback.
I ask unanimous consent that the current amendment be set aside, and I'd like to call up my amendment number 2598 and ask for its immediate consideration.
Is there objection?
So I filed an amendment, defense appropriations bill.
If there's no further debate, without objection, the amendment is agreed to.
Simple, easy, unanimous consent. It's in the law. It is signed by the President Obama. It's the law of the land, and nobody knows about it.
The apology is about honoring one another. I have to honor you because you asked me for forgiveness. You honor me because I give you forgiveness. So it's all about honor. Anytime you want things to pass, you throw it in the defense bill so it'll pass. But when you don't put words with what you write and what you sign, that's another story.